Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am Bert the Stormtrooper. I am doing a comprehensive review series of Optimus Prime figures called That's Just Prime. I also review other Transformers, lots of G1 stuff, as well as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Ghostbusters, GoBots, and pretty much any other toy that may jump out at me. I also do the occasional arcade and pinball machine video, unboxings, vlogs, challenges, and miscellaneous videos where my daughter usually makes fun of me. Those are a lot of fun. If you're new to the channel, thanks for checking me out. Please be sure to click subscribe and hit that bell icon so you're notified when I upload a new video. I upload 2 videos a week, sometimes more. And don't forget to give me a thumbs up and share if you like what you see.
Autobots, roll out!
Hello and welcome to That's Just Prime, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Power of the Primes Optimal Optimus, and I love this toy. Released in November of 2018, this guy is brand new and starting to hit stores right now as of the time of this recording, and it retails for approximately $45. So I just picked this guy up the other day. It's one I've really been looking forward to, and I'm really excited to finally add him to my collection because he is absolutely awesome. You can see that he comes packaged in the regular Power of the Primes box with the window, so you can see the guy within. And then over on the sides, not a whole lot there, just a bunch of the icons for the Primes themselves. Some artwork of Optimus Primal on this side, and then on the back some product shots showing us the different modes and transformations, a little bit of a bio if you want to read it. That's about it. So let's get this guy out of the package and check it out. And here's everything out of the package, and as you can see, there's a bunch of stuff that comes in here. It really kind of feels like a play set almost, more than a figure, because you get so much stuff and there's so many things that you can do with them together. It's been a lot of fun. So you get Optimus, or rather Optimal Optimus figure, you get an Optimus Primal figure, you get a card, another one of these collector cards that I don't really do anything with. This is just going on the stack of cards that I have nothing to do with, but there you go. It says Optimal Micronus. I guess that's one of the Primes, I guess, you can play with. I don't collect any of the Primes, so I don't know. I've only collected the leader size Optimus Prime and this guy right here. So that's only figures I've picked up so far. But there you go. There's a card if you're into that. And then, of course, your instruction sheet, which is kind of massive. I'll open this up real quick and I'll pan it through. It's absolutely massive, and it's on both sides. So very cool. Lots of stuff to do here. Let's get right to it. So we're going to start right here with Optimus Primal. As you can see, we get an Optimus Primal figure. Very cool. We'll set the weapons aside for the moment. And we'll just take a look at this guy himself. Optimus Primal is approximately 6 inches tall, and as you can see, a very nice representation of that original Beast Wars Optimus Primal figure. He kind of reminds me of the 10th anniversary figure that came out later that was a little more robotic. I've reviewed him here on the channel. He came with a big surfboard. That's kind of what this guy reminds me of, both in style and in the fact that he turns into a surfboard himself. But coming in close, checking out the face, check that out. Very, very nice head sculpt for Primal himself. And then going around the back, he does have a backpack. I saw pictures and videos of this guy before, and I really thought the backpacks were going to bother me. They really did look very big and bulky in all the videos and pictures that I saw, both in this mode and later in the Optimus mode. They're not as big and bulky as I thought. They're actually quite manageable, and they don't look that bad. They really don't. I am having a problem with the stickers, with these modern foil stickers right out of the package, all of them peeling. And then you start playing with them and they start peeling even more. So that's definitely something that's going to need to be addressed. Articulation, the head can rotate side to side all the way around. The shoulders can also rotate. You've got a hinge. You have a hinge here for the shoulder pad, but there's another hinge inside there. That's for the shoulder to go in and out. You do have a ball jointed elbow. So you can bend the elbow and you can rotate the elbow. Nothing at the bicep, nothing at the wrist, nothing at the waist. Again, ball jointed hips. So you can go forward, backwards, in and out. You do have a rotation right there at the hip, or rather at the thigh. Double jointed knees for transformation. And nothing at the legs, or at the feet rather, or ankles. So there you go. Very cool little Optimus Primal figure. I like this a lot. Now, the figure also came with, or the set, rather, came with 2 of these guns. I'll bring these guys in closer. You can see what these guys look like. Oops. Let's try this other one. This guy wants to be on camera. So there you go. Very cool little weapon. You know, just kind of a plain gun itself, but within itself. But you can tell that these are meant to be the shoulder guns for Optimus later on. But they do have a peg down here at the bottom, so you can hold them as guns, just like that. Or you can do, the way you saw at the beginning of the video, you've got another peg right here on the back, so you can hold them as a melee weapon as well. So you can do either, and they both works. There you go. So that's what you can do with the weapons. Now let's get Optimus, or rather Primal, Optimus Primal. Let's get him transformed, because there's a bunch of stuff that we need him to do for him before we get into him. So real quick, to transform him, first thing we're going to do is open up the chest and hide the head away, close the chest back up. We're going to bring the arms straight down. We're going to take the feet and turn them inwards, like so. We're going to take the shoulder pads, bring them down. These tabs on the inside of the fists are going to go into these slots right there on his thighs. So you can slot those guys right in there. And then using those double hinges, you're going to bring the legs all the way up. And this tab is going to go into that slot right in there. Like so. And like so. And then we're going to bring this entire thing around. We're going to unfold this. And then these 2 tabs are going to go into those 2 slots. And here is Primal's first mode. And that is one of some sort of a, it looks like a little spaceship. It also serves as a skateboard. This is approximately 7.5 inches long. And yeah, you can call this whatever you want. You can call it a spaceship. You can call it a skateboard, whatever the case may be. Why a skateboard or a hoverboard? Well, you see that we've got slots, or rather tabs here, 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 and here. Now we can bring Optimus in, and we've got some slots on the bottom of his feet right there. So these guys can be slotted right onto the board, just like so. And we're going to be getting into Optimal himself here in just a moment. But first, let's surf a little bit. So there you go. So you can do the surfing thing from the show. Not exactly an Optimal Optimus thing. Optimal didn't really do this. This was more of a Primal thing. Primal, his first Transmetals form, had he can transform, his feet would transform into some sort of a hoverboard, so he could sky surf. So this kind of is a callback to that. It's pretty cool. You can turn them at the waist, and you can do all kinds of poses with them. You can take these, since we're getting into Optimal, we can take these and just peg them onto the sides here of the leg. So we have nothing set aside. We've got the entire set right here in front of us. Very, very cool. So there you go. That's Optimal riding the Primal surfboard. So let's set this guy off to the side. Let's take a look at Optimus real quick, or rather at Optimal real quick before we get into his final mode before transformation. So here is Optimal in his robot gorilla mode. Very cool looking. This thing looks incredible. In this mode, he's approximately 7.5 inches tall. And very cool looking. If you go all the way around, you are going to find some hollowness, but we are going to address this in just a moment. There you go. Very cool looking, and a very good representation of the original Optimal Optimus. Articulation wise, he can turn his head side to side. Now when you go to transform him, you cannot turn it all the way around here. His chin piece is going to get into this chest piece there, so you're going to want to take the head inside of the cavity and then turn it inside of there. So just keep that in mind when it comes to transformation. The shoulders can rotate all the way around. They can go in and out. And then you've also got that gimmick where you can extend the arms out for either airplane mode or robot mode. You can also use it in gorilla mode if you want to, kind of use it to your advantage for posing. The elbows turn as well as a hinge. And I just popped that thing off. And then the wrists also rotate. You've got the thumb on a hinge all the way around, back side to side. If you're familiar with the original figure, you know why that is. And then the fingers are also hinged at the top knuckle there. As you already saw, we have rotation at the waist. The legs can go forward and backwards. There's a pin and joint there, so forward and backwards, and then you've got in and out. You've also got rotation at the thigh, which is going to be a little more usable in robot mode. And then the feet can go forward, backwards, and he does have an ankle tilt. So that's about it for Gorilla Mode. This Gorilla Mode anyway. Let's do something with this guy. So we're going to take him and we're going to split it right here in the front, just like so. We're going to come around the back, and this guy is going to slot in right in here. And there are two slots here and here that are going to go into these two, or rather tabs that are going to go into these two slots here and here. So that'll slot right in there. And then you can bring the whole thing down, and there are going to be tabs here and here, and then here and here. You're going to match all of these up. You're going to want to watch these guys right here. So just line everything up and get it all snapped together. You're going to want to bring the legs forward for that. There you go. And then you can straighten them out. Now you can take these guns back here, or up here rather, on his legs. Take the guns off his legs. You try and get them all nice and straightened out for you. There you go. And then finally we can take these guns and we can pop them right back up here on his backpack. And that is going to give us a more, almost a G1, but more of an original look to his Optimus self with the guns, with the backpack on his back. You see the backpack is not, again, not as obtrusive as it looked in pictures. I don't know if maybe this video, hopefully this video is carrying that over well, but it's not as big and obtrusive as I originally thought. It does kind of hinder a little bit the movement on the legs, but usually in this mode you're going to want to lean them forward anyway. But you'll remember the original Optimus did have, in Gorilla Mode, he did have that backpack with those guns up top. So in this configuration, he really does harken back to that original look. And just for comparison, we'll bring in the original Optimus in Gorilla Mode with his backpack and his cannons on his back, so you can see the differences. And there you go. Very nice looking set. I really do love the way these guys look together. So you can see the original one. If you're not familiar with the original one, I have reviewed it. But real quick, there's that backpack, and you can see how far down it goes. All the way down, he's got those guns up there. So, and then as far as the guns, on the new one, the guns mounting on the shins with the original one, again, if you're not familiar, every review is somebody's first review, right? The original had missiles that's stored right there on the legs. So, you know, it's not the same thing, but it's very similar. Since this new one doesn't have missiles, at least it has guns, and it can store the same way the original one did. So, anyway, let's get them side by side there. One last shot for a nice shot comparison. That looks really, really cool. So, let's get this guy out of the way, and let's get right into transformation. So, first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the backpack off. Just unpack everything, take the guns off, and now we're going to take the guns and we're going to move them from here. We're going to put them up here. This may be a little premature. These are very likely to pop off when I try to combine them. And if they do, we'll just put them back on. And then just for now, I'm not going to worry about pegging this into place because we are going to move it. So I'm just going to leave it like that. Basically, mostly board mode. And then I'm just going to set it aside. We're going to get right into Optimal here. So, again, we're going to take the head, tuck it in, and then turn it. And we're pretty much done with that. We're going to take these blue shoulder pieces, and these are on a hinge. Let's see if there's an easy way of showing this. So you can kind of see right in there, there's a little rotation piece. It clips down here at the bottom. It clips at the top. So that's going to allow you to rotate that entire shoulder piece. So we're going to take it and rotate it forward and upwards until it clicks into place like that. Do that on both sides. There you go. Take the arms, straighten them out. And we're going to bring them all the way out on this ball and turn them so that the armor is facing upwards and ball up the fist. So we're basically, and again, for those of you that are not familiar, we're going to take Optimal Optimus here and kind of put him in a Superman pose, if you will. So we're going to do that there. Now we're going to take the legs themselves. We're going to take the feet, straighten them all the way out, bring these fins out. And then, what's the best way to show? Okay, so if you look at the inside of the leg here, you can see that the leg is clipped on right there on that opening. We're going to bring it down one slot to that opening right there. So we'll do that on both legs. Like that, and we'll just straighten the legs out. That's pretty much all there is to it. This is kind of an in-between mode. It's just as crazy as the original one. And then we'll worry about straightening everything out once we get everything combined. So now we're going to take this and we're going to bring it See what I mean about the guns? We'll just set them aside and put them on when we're done here. So there's a couple of hinges in here. This first hinge is going to point straight up, and then this hinge is going to point straight down so that it's doing something like that. Okay? Now we're going to we have tabs everywhere. We've got, again, this tab is going to go into that slot. That tab's going to go into this slot. And then these two tabs on the back are meant to go into these two slots on the back of his heels. On mine, they don't quite tab in very securely. They mostly line up. They're kind of a reference point more than anything for me to show me where they're going to go. So we're just going to tab those in there. And then I'm just going to bring these up and do my best to get them tabbed in. Again, they don't really tab in very securely for me. They mostly just kind of serve to show me where the feet are supposed to be more than anything. And then finally, we're going to take these guns, once again, place them up here at the top. Take the wings and rotate them out. And there you go. There's your plane mode. Very crazy. It's just as crazy as the original plane mode. It looks just as good or just as bad, depending on your opinion of the original plane mode. So there you go. In this mode, this is approximately 11.5 inches long, and he does have a wingspan of about 13.5 inches. He's absolutely massive. And for that reason, I'm not going to transform the original one into this mode, because it would be A, too time consuming, and B, I really don't know if I could get them both in the shot. I remember having a hard time getting the plane in the shot in the original review for that one. So, but there you go. He does have some hollowness around the bottom there. You can see the head in there, the chest cavity. But other than that, I mean, it's just a gorilla doing the Superman with some wings, as he is very famously or infamously known to be. So there's the airplane mode. And then finally, we're going to, once again, pop that off. Take the guns off. Straighten this out. And I'm just going to leave that like that. And again, just set it off to the side. I'm going to set the guns off to the side. And we're going to take Optimal Optimus here and transform him into our robot mode. So we're going to come here to the waist, and we're going to turn the waist around. We're going to want the cavity facing front. Straighten out his feet. Straighten out the fins. Now, actually, don't straighten out the fins yet. There's an internal hinge here that's going to allow us, let me see how best I can show this, to rotate the leg all the way up. As you can see, there's a hinge right inside there. So we're going to rotate this up until it clicks into place, just like so. That's going to extend our legs by that much. So we're going to do the same thing here. This one, they are kind of tough, which is nice. And then once you do that, you can take the fins and flip them in. Get them out of the way like that. Take your arms, rotate them down. And then, you know, as with the original, I am going to invoke the original quite a bit. You can do, there's a bunch of options. There's a lot of stuff here that you can do to whatever your preference is, and we'll get into that in just a moment. So we're going to rotate actually we're going to leave those there like that. Rotate the fist, open up the arm, rotate the fist, and bring it around so that his hands are properly oriented. There you go. And that's pretty much it for that. Now we're going to take this piece. I have had the hardest time. I actually broke this nail yesterday trying to do that. This is really hard in here. I'm having a really difficult time getting this thing out. I've only been able to successfully do it twice, and like I said, I broke a nail doing it the other time. So just find yourself whatever thing you can find. I've got a little plastic sword here that I'm going to use right around here on the bottom. You can see the head crest right there. I'm just going to push up on it. It doesn't take much, but once you get it out, it's fine. And then you just pull this up all the way until it clips into place. It's really, really strong. Now, once again, we've got two tabs right here on the shoulders. Those are going to tab right here and right here on these slots. And then we're going to, once we get it attached, we're going to bend this down. And then there's that tab again that's going to tab into his back. So let's bring this guy in here. And tab this guy into place as soon as I can find the slots. There you go. This guy is going to come down. There are two slots on his back there and there that are going to slot in right there, as well as that tab is going to go in there as well. Is it? Yes, it is. No, it's not. Not for this mode. It just the top two tabs right there. Nothing else. Bring the chest around and line this up just like so. Turn the head around. And then just kind of get them positioned the way you like them best. I take his guns and put them up here on his shoulders. And again, this is a preference thing. And we're going to get into that in just a moment. And there is Optimal Optimus in robot mode. In this mode, Optimus stands approximately 9 inches tall at the top of the head, 11 if you want to go to the top of these fins up here. And he is getting really tall and kind of hard to shoot. Now, if you've noticed mine, this fin goes in really nicely, but this one likes to stick out. Not a whole lot I can do about that there, but he looks really, really nice. This really is a very nice improvement over the original. Not to take anything away from the original, but as far as proportions go, this looks incredible. For articulation, the head can rotate, all the way around. You've got on the shoulders, all kinds of things on the shoulders. So again, you can go all the way around. You do have that joint right here at the ball. And then you've also got the joint in there, so you can move the arms up and down to however it looks best to you. The elbows can rotate and they can also bend. And you've got the wrist rotation, thumb rotation, knuckle rotation, wrist rotation. Same rotation at same articulation at the hips, forward, backwards, in and out. You do have a rotation at the thigh. Again, we can make better use of it this time in robot mode since it's extended. Knee bend. And then again, the ankle tilt and up and down and forward, backwards, that kind of thing. So there you go. Really, really nice. Now, so I was getting into, preferences here and what you can do. There is no right or wrong way of displaying your Primal. Like another very popular reviewer likes to say, it is your toy. Display it any way you want, and that is very true. And when it comes to Optimal Optimus, they did so many different things with him on the show. He always looked different. Sometimes he had the wings up, sometimes he had them down. So you can do that. It's completely up to you. The shoulders, if you like it better like that, you can do that. That looks fine. He looked like that on the show sometimes. Sometimes he looked like that. Sometimes they look like that. The original toys told you to transform it like that. So, you've got whatever. Now, you can do a sort of a power-up mode if you wanted to. So you could do that as a normal mode, just kind of playing with them. This is kind of something that I'm sure I'm not the first one to come up with it, but it occurred to me that this could be like a normal mode right here. And then you can take his arms and extend them out like that. And then you can take his shoulder or his forearm armor. And this is another thing that the original figure did. And then you got 2 tabs there, and you got these holes, one on each side of the shoulders. So you can bring these up and pop those into place. So you can do that too. Pop these up here. Get it all lined up. And get them straightened out again. And there you go. So now you have, you can kind of do this as a powered up or armored mode. You can do something like that versus the normal mode that I originally had. And you can take guns on, guns off. You can do that with the guns. You can also do this with the guns, which is actually a little more accurate to the show. Using these hinges, bring these down like so. That exposes those openings. And then you can pop these in. In the show, again, if you're not familiar, the guns would actually come out of his chest just like that. So you can do that, and that can be your power-up mode, which is actually going to be very reminiscent to the original figure. And in fact, for comparison, let's bring in the original figure. Now, I don't have the shoulder things on the original figure because they're such a pain in the butt, quite honestly. They're spring-loaded, and they pop on and off everywhere. But as you can see on the original figure, the guns did come out of the chest like that, which again is show accurate. The problem with the original figure is that the guns were always there. You didn't have a choice to not have them on. And, the guns came out of his shoulders, but it was only every once in a while. Most of the time, he didn't have them there. But with the toy, you didn't get that option. But you can see what these guys look like together, side by side. They look awesome. And again, this is one of my favorite Optimus toys ever, is this Beast Transmetal 2 Optimal Optimus. But, proportions wise and just show accuracy wise or whatever, this modern take on it is such an improvement. Just in the looks department, the proportions are right. He looks just like the show. You've got all of these options. This is a fantastic figure. Again, not to take away from this one, this is absolutely one of my favorites. But this is really, really nice too. All right, I'm blubbering, so let's move this guy out of the way here. And let's look at a couple more things with Optimal here. So I guess we'll leave him in the powered up mode like that. Oh, you can take his guns. Actually, let's do that real quick. And I'll just leave his chest like that for the moment. You can take the guns. He does have these holes on his fist. This is kind of wonky, to be honest with you, because he doesn't have a proper hold. You have to pop the gun in there, into this thumb hole here, and they just kind of angle it so it kind of looks like he's holding it like that. You can do that on both sides. So you have that option. Get that in there. So you can do that if you wanted to, or you can pop these guys off, and they do pop in and out like this for front to back. It doesn't matter which one's which. So you can kind of give them a longer rifle if you wish. You can do that as well. That just doesn't look great to me. The original figure did have rifles that he came with. This is not them. This is not what those rifles look like. They're not proportionate. They're not big. I mean, the original figure did have the thumb hole as well, just like this, but it worked. Actually, it had a hole right here on the side of the hand. It worked better than this did. You can try to do this to a degree. It's not going to work that well. But anyway, that is an option that you have, so I did want to show it. And we'll separate these guys, pop them back up here, and then finally, last thing we're going to show off is that the cockpit can be opened. And for me, it's kind of hard to get in there because I have no nail now. There you go. And we can pop off his matrix. He does come with a matrix, and this is compatible with the one that came with Optimus and Rodimus. I did get Rodimus, didn't I? So I have 3 figures from this line. So, you know, just a different colored Prime, I guess. And this is where you can get the little Primes and just kind of pop them in there to pretend they have different different powers. But there you go. Let's see if we can get that zoomed in, or focused in, rather. There you go. It's kind of like this dark blue, and he does have that translucent thing in the back there. So you can see, you can put some light through there, or not, to light it on and off, just like that. And you can just pop that right back into his matrix. And you can swap this matrix out with the one for Optimus, or the one with Rodimus, or, you know, whatever you want to do. I mean, they're toys. You play with them, you swap parts around, you pretend that they have different powers, and, you know, that kind of stuff. So it works really, really nice. This is an absolute must-get if you're into Transformers, and if you're into Beast Wars, if you're into Power of the Primes, you know, if you're into whatever. This is an amazing figure, an amazing set, because you do get 2 figures. One figure transforms into a semi-vehicle, and it also transforms into weapons. And they combine to make a vehicle, and then they combine to make a super robot. This is a really, really fun set, an absolutely amazing figure. Go out and get this. This one is absolutely worth it. And I think that about covers Transformers Power of the Primes Optimal Optimus. What did you think of this figure, and do you have any suggestions for something you'd like to see me review in the future? Let me know by leaving me a comment, give me some thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you're notified when I make a new video. Please share with your friends if you like what you see, and I'll talk to you next time on That's Just Prime.